Coming up next on your favorite radio station, it is hour one of the Saturday Special with your host, Michael Zwerling. Please keep it tuned in. KSCO Santa Cruz, AM 1080.
What happens to people who don't keep it tuned in?
Well, they lose out on all kinds of entertainment. This is one of the most entertaining stations on the planet, MZ, and if you tune out, that's at your own risk.
I like it. Dave Michael, I was going to ask Josh Stevens a personal question. I had a real good one today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you going to save it for him, or are you going to lay it on me?
I'm going to save it for him because
Okay.
I know you know the answer. I'm not sure he would, but it will be it'll be interesting to find out.
Okay.
Tell us about the Dave Cave today. What's going on?
Today, we just got a shipment in, MZ, so if you're looking for anything from ProstaFX to Occutive, that's another very popular one, Immortalium, of course, the Healthy Start Pack, Arthrodex for your four-legged friends, and for those of you who have never heard the message about longevity, it's about minerals, MZ. It's all about minerals. These are plant-derived, super absorbable, and that is the key. You can get vitamins from anything. This has vitamins as well, the tangy tangerine. But the minerals is the key. Once you get those in your body, stand back because you never know what's going to happen. You feel full of energy, right? You feel full of energy. You have more positive attitude.
I've got my BTT right here.
You're a smart man.
And it's not going to do me any good if I don't tear open the packet and throw it in some water and shake the hell out of it.
Right. You know, and
then consume it.
Sometimes I hear people say that they don't like the taste, and if that's the case, then just water it down. As long as you get one scoop per day in you, you're going to feel much better.
How can anybody not like the taste of Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0? What's wrong with those people?
Well, you know, different strokes for different folks. I guess their taste buds are maybe a little wacky.
And tangerine, is there anybody in the world who doesn't like tangerine?
I don't know, but you know, the Tangy Tangerine Original is tangerine flavored. The 2.0 is peach fusion, so it's a mixture of peach and tangerine. Try one or the other. You might like them both. You might prefer one over the other. The 2.0 is a slightly better product because it has amino acids, probiotics, prebiotics. It has all that stuff in there as well, so it's going to help with digestion. A bunch of B12, so you feel great. Vitamin C, which is important right now. Zinc, selenium, all that stuff is in there, MZ. And we've all been hearing about this lately, especially, zinc and vitamin C. It's all in there.
And
it's all in there.
Zinc is sort of hard to come by.
Right. It's all in there in one.
It's all there. It's all in
one canister. Yes.
Yeah,
you got it, MZ. And I'm out there every Saturday from 10 to 2.
Wow, so almost 4 more hours.
Yep,
you
almost.
will be here for people to, and you're going to offer deals that squeal today.
Deals that'll make you
squeal. Right?
Deals that'll make you squeal. Right.
All right, Dave
All
Michael.
right,
so now you've got the elements. You've got
I've got
the
everything ready to go right here.
And followed by the, should we use the special fanfare or should we use the crossfire? What do you think?
Either one. I'm ready to go.
Okay, I'd say special. No, I don't know. I don't care. You do it. 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, a brighter day is here. Good morning, may we bring you cheer.
We've got time, we've got tunes, we've got time, tunes, and temperature.
Get up and go, it's today you know on KSCO Radio.
Say, are you all up and ready to go? Did you drag yourself up and are you ready to go to KSCO? What a silly thing to say. Of course you are. You're here. You're listening to the Saturday Special. Do you think, is the Saturday Special your favorite program on KSCO? I mean, owners have feelings too, you know. Anyhow, stay with us for the next 2 hours. I think you'll be happy you did.
Good morning, now stay right here on KSCO Radio.
Introducing Courtney Johnson. Hi, Courtney Johnson.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, things like this don't happen very often, but sometimes they do. Let's see. My friend and I were at Back Nine Grill on Thursday, I think it was, day before yesterday. And we were ordering some fabulous to-go food. And because it was so good, we had tried it the day before. So excellent, the Outlaw Burger and the garlic ginger prawns. Oh, my God, out of this world delicious. And it was so good that we came back the next day and sort of ordered enough food to stuff our face because it was such good food. And while we were waiting for the order to be filled and delivered, the takeout order, we overheard a conversation between a couple of other people who were waiting for their orders. Turns out Courtney Johnson was one of them, and Courtney Johnson turned out to be a very interesting person. And what got my attention, I'm not in the habit of eavesdropping, but I mean, I just couldn't help but eavesdrop. And Courtney was talking to this other lady about masks and how masks are sort of. You correct me if I'm not characterizing it correctly, Courtney. Masks are not really what they're cracked up to be, and in fact, they could be doing more harm than good. I mean, that's what I believe, and so I perked up when I heard someone saying what I believe.
Right.
And I walked up to you and I said, "You're an interesting person. I want to have you on the radio." And it turns out that you have a you were on your way. It was your last official purchasing food act in Santa Cruz on your way to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is where you are now. And you drove yourself all the way there with no help from no one. Yeah, and here you are. And so tell us a little bit about yourself. You're definitely a Santa Cruz / Jackson Hole type character.
Yes, I'm an acupuncturist. I graduated from 5 branches in Santa Cruz a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago.
5 branches is on 7th Avenue, right? And it's in that big building that used to be Twin Lakes Baptist Church many, many years ago that was probably before your time, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. So I went through UC Santa Cruz system and then went through the 5 branches system and ended up in Maui right after that. And I ended up stumbling upon a new model of healthcare called functional medicine. And it turned out that with an acupuncture license, I was able to practice functional medicine. And so for many of the viewers that might not, or the listeners that might not know what functional medicine is, it's a model of care that addresses the underlying root cause of a chronic condition. And anybody with a healthcare license, primary care license, and an acupuncturist as a primary care can adopt the model. And so, not to go on and on, but I, started my practice in Maui, ended up in Portola Valley Woodside for over 10 years, and started doing online consulting about 2 years ago because I didn't actually have to see the person in my office. So, and I wasn't sticking needles into people anymore. I was practicing functional medicine. So what we do is we run labs, we run blood chemistry, stool analysis, and look at imbalances in your metabolism that speak to things like inflammation or blood sugar issues or toxicity. And then we work a lot with therapeutic diet, therapeutic nutrition, lifestyle modification to address those root causes. And I've been pretty passionate about it for a really long time. And I've been, in Woodside, you're right next to Palo Alto. So a lot of my patients were and are, sort of used to the standard healthcare model, which is wait. Now you have a condition and now you have a diagnosis and here's the medication. So I grew up with this sort of, well, all of us have. I mean, my entire life, our healthcare system has been focusing on, naming a condition in order to tame the symptoms, right? And so Anywho, I put my practice online a couple years ago, and in February, right before this whole thing went down, I put all my stuff in storage and took off to Italy, if you can believe it. And this was before this whole pandemic started. And 2 weeks into my journey there, my family was like, "You got to come home." This whole thing called, this COVID going on. And I was like, "No way, I'm not going home." So I decided to go to Costa Rica. So I went to Costa Rica, and meanwhile, I'm carrying my full load because I'm a full-on 100% online practice. I've been seeing all my patients.
That's amazing. So you can literally practice from anywhere in the world where you have a connection, an internet connection.
And the first time I had the guts to do it was this whole thing with this whole COVID thing, right? So it was really an interesting.
Oh, wait just a second here. I thought that you not so much anticipated the pandemic, but when you realized what the technology offers you, you could be a traveling practitioner and still maintain
already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm surprised to hear it was not until the pandemic that you got online, or maybe I misunderstood you.
Yeah, no. So that was the whole thing. I mean, I'm a homebody. I never would have done this if I had known that there were just going to be stay-at-home orders. But I just, I've been online for 2 years and was loving it. I had a friend in Europe and was like, dude, and she does the same thing I do, and she's like, come out and see me. So, around and around the globe I went. I didn't want to leave Costa Rica. I fell in love with Costa Rica. My practice is thriving. I was thriving, but there was no more planes leaving Costa Rica if I didn't get on a plane. So that's when I got on a plane and came back to the Bay, and that's where you found me because my family's in Santa Cruz. And so I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and you found me, at that time. And we were talking about the masks, and I was making a comment about how it's just a total representation of the system sort of reacting as opposed to what we need to be doing, which is promoting immunity and defense, right? So it's just a symptom of the biggest problem, which is our system is just designed to kind of react to crisis. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with masks, and we do need some, measures to come in and kind of work with where we are right now, but we need to start looking at what we need to be doing from a healthcare perspective to promote, immunity, so that we don't have this what we call a cytokine storm, right? This inflammatory storm that's not controlled when we get hit with, let's just say, a coronavirus. So that's really how the whole story went down.
Oh my. Okay. Well, I haven't written my editorial yet. I keep threatening to do so, and then things get in the way. But I have very strong feelings about masks, and I think they should be optional. I think every private business has the right and should practice the right to require people who come into that business to wear masks if that's what the owner of the business wants. But I feel very strongly against the government ordering businesses to require masks or ordering people to have masks when they're outside of their house. What's next? Have masks inside your house? Anyhow, when I wear a mask, it just stands to reason. I can't stand. I feel ill after a minute or two of breathing carbon dioxide instead of oxygen and nitrogen.
Well, I agree. Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's suppressing our immune system. The whole entire shelter in place and fear. I mean, all of that is contagious, and stress is the worst thing that we can do for our immunity. So I'm in the same lines with you. It's just that it's just kind of par for the course. We are in a wait, watch, and react healthcare crisis, and that's what we do with chronic disease. I mean, chronic disease just doesn't happen one day. The whole diabetes epidemic and autoimmune and heart disease and all of that, we don't just wake up one day and have that going on. There's a long period of declining physiology that can actually be measured in lab assessments, where we really need to start talking about the intervention upstream. So it's just, to me, the whole mask and stay-at-home orders are just, typical responses because we are in a crisis response healthcare model.
Right. Oh, okay. So do you have a prediction? Back up. You came back to Santa Cruz from Costa Rica because you figured you better get back here, while the getting was good because it might not be for quite a while. And I have a friend who's still stuck in Costa Rica, not that it's a bad place to be stuck in by any means. In fact, I sort of wish I've been there the last few months, But as soon as the gate drops and you realize you can't go out of the country or can't come back home for who knows how long, I guess you start thinking the way you did. So, which is exactly what I would do. But so you came back to Santa Cruz, and were you going to resettle here, or was this just a stop on your way to Jackson Hole? And why Jackson Hole?
Well, when I left to go to Italy, I put all of my stuff in a pod because I was planning on being in a storage unit because I was planning on traveling for 6 months to a year and going around the world figuring out where I wanted to settle down because at this point, my practice was online. I wasn't having to come back to the Bay Area and compete with, all the rising costs of living and all of that. So when I came back to Santa Cruz, I didn't have a home. So I spent like a week in the Hotel Paradox. It was just like hotel hopping. And of course, my family was like, "You've got to settle back down." And I'm like, "There's just no way. I'm not going to put my wings in the closet and settle back down. I'm going to, I don't have a home. Everything's in storage. I'm just going to, just kind of travel through the mountains." So I chose Jackson Hole because I've been here a couple of times, and it's amazing. It's very wellness-oriented. I love horses and mountains and everything that, the mountains offer. So that's where I landed, and I have a place for a month, and I'm going to take it 1 month at a time.
Oh, that's terrific. I've never been. Wait a minute. I think I drove through Jackson Hole, didn't stop long enough, and really regretted it. Because I've heard it's a really cool place. And it's near Grand Teton, right?
That's right, and Yellowstone. And it's just amazing here. I mean, if you ever have a chance to come here, it's God's country. It's just the natural awe of nature is powerful, and that's what I needed. Just coming back to the Bay Area, Costa Rica was really kind of cool, but I could have stayed there, I suppose, but there was no flights leaving, so I got a little freaked out by that. But the Bay Area I just felt the fear, and I didn't want to feel the fear, and I didn't want to, react to the fear. I wanted to depend on my own internal resources. And so I just had to continue on with my odyssey, really, and that's kind of how we met.
I'll be darned. Okay, so how do you promote your business? It's totally like a website, I guess, right?
Right. So it's all word of mouth. I just, I do have a website, and my practice is called 5 Seasons Functional Medicine, and people just kind of tell other people about me, and it's just been slowly growing over the years, and I've been developing a way in which I help onboard a new person, take them through a case review, get to understand what their patterns are. So all of my new patients go through a functional case analysis where we look at their blood chemistry. And then I work with nutrition and diet over a period of time, and I help track through the transition of adapting to a new diet and adapting to nutrition. And it's just been kind of slowly growing over the last, 15 years here. And
are you sort of a trailblazer in the fact that you do telehealth, I guess we would call it?
Well, right, definitely. I mean, I'm sure all of my patients, when this whole thing went down, was like, "Wow, I'm already on Zoom with Courtney." So I mean, a lot of us, I've got a lot of our patients from 12 years old all the way up until their 70s. So it's been fun over the last couple of years getting everybody adapted to Zoom, and it's kind of weird, but it's not weird. After we see each other for the first couple of times, it's just like we're in the same room, and so. I don't know if I'd call myself a trailblazer, but I definitely had the kinks kind of ironed out when this whole thing happened as far as how to actually manage it from a business perspective, right, and just how that looks and just the technology piece and all of that. But I think that it's a great tool, and, we have to balance the technology with humanity, and that's really where, when it comes to our health and our wellness and our immunity, we're not computers, right? We can't, we have to contain the human element and reconnect. But I think there's a way to balance that, and it's somewhat delicate, but, everybody's going to have to figure that out. And, don't forget about nature, and breathing without a mask, and all of those things, and the nutrition like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we got a caller, Corky in Santa Clara. By the way, I haven't even given out the phone number yet, but if you're a regular KSCO listener, you probably have it emblazoned in your brains. 831-479-1080. If you want to participate via email, it's mz@ksco.com. Courtney Johnson is our guest here at the first hour of the KSCO Saturday Special, and I met Courtney quite by accident at the back nine bar and grill, and recently, and I was fascinated by what she does and her thoughts. And I want to get into your thoughts about the virus and the politics and so forth, if you are comfortable doing that, because that's what's going to get the phones to ring. But let's see what Corky in Santa Clara has. She wasn't locked in. Can you call back? Do you know the number?
Hello?
Yeah, hold on a second. Wait. I made a terrible mistake. Yeah, you call and get Courtney back, Josh Stevens, please, and apologize. And oh, God. Hold on a second here, gang. By the way, it's KSCO, the Saturday Special. Poor old MZ, who's getting more feeble by the day. We've been doing this for about 30 years, even before I owned the radio station. And we try to have a lot of fun, and we try to be relevant and pertinent on the Saturday Special. Sometimes we don't cut the mustard, but we always try in any case. So, yeah, okay, this time, good. Now, this time I'm going to lock Courtney in. Courtney, you there? Courtney? 2?
Vader 2.
Vader? Oh, okay. All right. Courtney's there now, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Apologize. That was my mistake. I didn't lock you in when we took this other call. All right, first caller of the day, Corky in Santa Clara. Go ahead. You're on with MZ and Courtney.
Yeah, I heard you say the mask, and you're dissipating the mask. The mask is very important, and for you to limbo the mask is highly inappropriate and very disrespectful. I work in the Santa Clara County Health Division, and for you to put, we need more information, not disinformation. I'm very, very angry at you.
Oh, I didn't say the masks were inappropriate. Is that what you thought I said?
I don't mean
I thought
you. I
thought
moderator. And we are going to get the mask on the inside and the out.
Corky, you're talking about what I said, not what the guest said. Is that right?
Yes, what you said, and for you to say that is very disconcerting. And we will be making people wear the mask in the house. If you do not have a mask on, you might as well be six feet under in the grave, and you cannot do that. And I'm driving right now. I have to be very careful, but you cannot say that because the government will eventually have the right to make you wear a mask in your house.
Is this a real caller? Josh Stevens.
Yeah.
Is this the Phil Hendry show or something? What's going on here? Corky, did I just hear you say you are going to be making people wear masks in their house? How can you do that?
Because it is you're going to have a pandemic now. You want to have a mass kill off. You're not supposed to say something like that, and that is when government can supersede the right of the individual and make you wear mask in house. If you do not do that, then you are performing a mass disservice to the community. And I was outraged. Fortunately, had your number to call into the talk show Saturday morning. and criticize you and say yes, masks will be made to be worn in house. And I am very upset at you and your guest because you do disservice. That is not right.
The guest did not.
And that's not funny. And for you to talk about masks in such a way makes us all the more eager to make person wear masks in the house. I'm very upset, and I am not going to have any more of it. Bye. Take care.
I'm speechless.
Same.
The phone lines are jammed. This is the most outrageous call. Are you as upset by this call as I am, Courtney?
Well, there's just a lot of anxiety in the air right now. So I think that, that's what I'm feeling here. Right?
I want to make a promo out of it.
Fear and anxiety and, a lot of there's a lot of opinions too, right? And there's a lot of things going on here, politics, medicine, our belief systems, there's a lot of things being exposed, right? So this is just an opportunity. So I'm sorry that your listener is so upset. I'm sorry.
Well, let's see what the next listener who called, Greg from Campbell, about the masks thing.
Hey,
Greg, you're on.
MC, Michael, yeah, that last caller was funny. That was a great caller. That guy was good.
Do you think it was a real caller?
No, I think it was a crank call. But, masks, they belong on people like Zorro and the Lone Ranger. And I'm up there at the hiking trail this morning and other mornings, and people are wearing masks even on a hiking trail, if you could believe that.
To each his own. That's fine. I just don't want the government to force me to do that. That's all. Right. That's my only thing. Do you agree, Courtney?
Wow. I don't think I feel like we as a team, need to act accordingly. So I don't like the idea of, here's the thing. I've never in my lifetime have I ever not been free, right? United States of America, we're free. So I think what's going on for a lot of us is like I've never been told to stay at home, right? Like in other countries, they're not as free as us, so they're kind of used to this. I'll never forget talking to this guy in Costa Rica. He's from Canada, and he's like, you guys in America are going to have a hard time. And I'm like, why? I didn't really understand it until I got home, and just these kinds of conversations are bringing it up. Like, we're just being confronted with limitations on our freedom, at least in my lifetime, for the very first time. So, I don't know if I want to say yes or no around whether or not I think the government should tell us to wear a mask or whatever.
Take a stand. Don't be afraid. Yeah. Take a stand one way or another. Okay, Greg, you're still there.
Michael, that last guy had a good fake Chinese accent. He asked him where he could get a good bowl of bat soup around. But
anyhow,
I want to ask Courtney, where did you're from Jackson Hole, Wyoming? Are you living there, or where are you living at right now?
I am from the Bay Area. I was, raised in Portola Valley, Palo Alto, Santa Cruz. And I moved. I just actually am in Jackson Hole temporarily, just because I had put all my stuff in storage earlier this year and went on a voyage when I got called home because of the pandemic. And I came home without a home, right? All my stuff's in storage. So I decided instead of, settling back down in the Bay Area, my practice is online. I decided I was going to just go check out the mountains and kind of live through the summer out here. So that's why.
Yeah, Jackson Hole is in Wyoming, isn't it?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're saying it's really beautiful there, and you love it there.
Definitely. Yep.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll visit you sometime.
Maybe I will too. That'll be great. Greg, thanks for calling 479-1080. Here's our next caller. Steve in Santa Cruz likes the masks. Oh, hi, Steve. What do you like about the masks?
Hey, MZ. Old MZ. I love you, man. Hey, I really like the mask just because I like the way they look. I think people look more calm with a mask on. You don't see people's faces are weaponized in a lot of ways. There's a lot of anger, contempt, judgment, fake happiness. But with a mask, everything is kind of neutral. It makes the world more peaceful. I find myself more relaxed in a masked world.
But what about but what about breathing recycled, dead air? Can that be good for your health?
MZ, that's a really good question. I don't wear a mask personally. That's why, because I can't breathe very well.
Wait a minute. What just happened? Steve in Santa Cruz, somehow you got disconnected. I'm going to put you back on. You got put on hold, not disconnected. So there you are. Are you back? I'm sorry. I don't know what happened to our system. It's full of gremlins today.
No, I feel more comfortable in a world with masks on, and I find it soothing and relaxing because people's faces are all neutral. They're all equal. It's this new reality, and nobody's angry, nobody's sad, nobody's judging each other. Everyone's neutral, and we're all the same. I like the mask on the faces.
Okay, that's cool. But let me share with you a very short personal story. I do my 5 to 7 miles a day of walking, come hell or high water. Because I have to. It's for my health.
I love that.
Yeah, and I was doing it at where was I? At the Yacht Harbor or Santa Cruz Small Craft Harbor or Arana Gulch leading there or something. And someone walked past me and said, "Mask," looked at me gave me a dirty look, walked way around me, way more than 6 feet, and in a cranky voice said, "Mask." And I turned around and I didn't say what I felt like saying. Like, mind your bleeping business, Don't you start forcing your beliefs on me. Who do you think
MZ,
you are?
MJ, I've heard you tell that story, and I sympathize with you. And I want you to say, love that person. Give back to them. Say peace and love to you, brother. But keep your mask off while you're trailblazing like that. I just rode my bike from my place on California Street all the way down Bay Avenue to the Dream Inn, all the way up to the Lighthouse, all the way to Woodward, up Woodward, all the way back to California Street. I did a huge loop. I did not wear a mask at all, but I admired all the masks that I saw.
Okay, that's cool.
And I was really happy to see people wearing masks. To me, their statement is, I care. They're wearing a mask, and I'm a senior, so I can't breathe with a mask. But they're wearing masks, and I feel safer with them wearing that mask. Plus, they look better. So that's
very
secondary.
interesting perspective, Steve. Thank you for sharing it on today's Saturday special.
Thank you, MZ. Bye-bye.
Take care. Okay, take next. Who would that be? None other than Scott in Santa Cruz. Hey, Scott, what do you think about masks?
Hi.
Hey.
I personally don't care for them. First off, I worked for over 12 years out of a 31-year career in the fire service over the hill. The only time we ever had to wear masks was to keep other people from infecting us, not us infecting somebody else. I find this to be kind of a reverse thing. That's first. Second, as far as the other gentleman about looking at everybody, he's obviously never seen my eyes when I'm wearing my mask because I hate wearing the masks. I find they fog up my glasses, they're irritating, and I think it's foolish to watch people riding bicycles and walking down the street or running wearing masks.
Okay.
And I think it's strictly a control issue.
Yeah, I do too. Now let me, and that's where I have a problem. If people like to wear masks, let them wear masks. I think it's fine. I respect people who express themselves, and however they express themselves. But you said something about fogging your glasses. I want to share something that happened to me when I went to have my toenails clipped, because I'm an old person now and I get to have my toenails clipped for free, because on Medicare. And so, it's something I take advantage of because it's a freebie, right? And I was wearing a mask in the doctor's office, and the doctor came in and pointed out that I was wearing the mask incorrectly. It wasn't covering my nose. And he said to me, he wasn't making me feel, he wasn't coming down on me or anything, but he would just say, here, do this to the mask. And he shifted it up over, shifted up over your nose. And I know you wear glasses, so you're probably concerned about the fogging of your lenses in your eyeglasses. And I nodded my head. He says, look, that's what this little metal thing is, around on the top part where the nose is. So just pinch that around your nose, and magically it won't. Even the cheapest garbage masks have that little metal thing inside baked into the mask. And I tried it, and voila, it was amazing. I still was breathing horrible, carbon dioxide that probably would kill me or make me ill within minutes, but at least it wasn't fogging my lenses. So I want to pass that little bit of information on to our vast audience. And thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Well, thank you.
All right, take care, Scott. You have a good one. Here's Nick in Royal Oaks, the Masks and Documentary.
Yeah. I was watching it a couple years ago. It was about a prison system in Alaska.
Yeah.
And these guys would get hyped up like ADD.
Yeah.
And what the guards would do, they would put paper bags over their head, and they would hyperventilate until they'd come down. So I don't think that's the original plan, but I think they like what it's doing.
What are you talking about?
They actually used it as a technique in Alaska to put paper bags over their head so they would hyperventilate, and then they would, they would just be in another state of mind after a little while.
Jeez. So, do you think the government should require people to wear masks at any time?
Possibly sometimes, but it's difficult to control, and I don't think they'll have it.
Yes, but do you think they should be allowed to? The government should be allowed to take away the freedom to not wear a mask that will make many people like me sick.
Get an exemption.
Yeah, I should have an exemption, don't you think? Well, you think about it, Nick. We got so many callers. I got to move on, but thank you for calling in. Hey, Pete in Aptos, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know if that Corky call was a prank or not a prank, but it does definitely indicate the hysteria that they're promoting. And whether it's from Santa Clara, he said he's from Santa Clara County. I think it was on Wednesday that the CDC came out and said, oh, you can't catch it from surface now. So the people have been coming home from the grocery stores and wiping everything down and wiping down doorknobs. Now they say you can't catch it from a surface. I just think they got really people.
Don't you feel like a fool for believing what they said before that?
I never believed
I sure do. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Well, I feel like a fool because I was believing what they were saying,
No, I believe you should, wash your hands. And, the thing is if you read the details, what they stated, it's droplets, it's fluid. If somebody sneezes on you and then you wipe your face to your nose or your mouth or touch your eyes, then, yeah, if you have fluid or droplets, but you're not going to, go into your own bathroom and wipe down the doorknobs and wipe down everything after you're the only one that's been using the bathroom, So, anyway, I just think that they really got everybody so hyped up and so oversensitive that it's really disappointing.
Okay, great. Thank you for calling, Pete in Aptos. By the way, Courtney, you can pipe into the conversation whenever you want because you're locked in and you're on the air, okay? But are you there still? I think you're there, right?
I'm here.
Okay, good.
I'm here.
Yeah, so feel free to chip in whenever you want to. Our next caller is going to be Angel in Salinas. These masks things. Go ahead.
Oh, Michael, I've got a few things to tell you about that. Thank you so much for taking my call. I was a medic, okay, and I am also high-risk respiratory. In the beginning, I think we all bought into this, but there was still questions in the back of my mind. I do not wear a mask when I am outdoors. Now, the caller that you had creeped me out saying, oh, I think it's relaxing and it's nice that we can't see their faces. No, that's just creepy. If they need psychological help, they need to go get some help.
So you're talking about Steve in Santa Cruz. You're not talking about the caller Corky in Santa Clara. Yeah.
Whichever one said that I feel calmer with people with masks on. He does not have a right to take away my freedom for his psychological issues. That's his, okay? Because I have asthma. And when I went into Safeway the other day, they got arrows on the floors, and, of course, you got to wear your mask. But you know what? I start feeling it in my chest, and I start getting dizzy. I start having trouble breathing. I'm like, So I said, I am fed up with this S. Okay, I am not wearing this anymore. I'm muttering to myself as I'm walking down the aisle past this woman. She goes, oh, my God, you're not wearing a mask? I said, blank, no. I said, I got asthma. I said, look, you be a good little slave, not me.
You be a good little slave? I love it. I love it. Oh, my God. What did she say when you said that?
She shut up.
Oh.
She shut up. And I'm looking at people, and they're looking at me like, you're not wearing a mask?
You be a good little slave. I love it.
Yeah, and I went to Capitola the other day, and it was beautiful. I went down by the water. People are surfing. People are walking along. Lovely young men in tan and out there. People walking their dogs. Everybody. Nobody has a mask on. They were breathing oxygen, and sunshine was on them. And I go 2 blocks over to go to Pizza My Heart or anything like that, and they said, we can't talk to you unless you wear a mask. I was like, oh, my God.
Look, that's okay if that's what the owner of Pizza My Heart directs. It's not okay if the government tells the owner of Pizza My Heart or any other business that that's the way. Do you agree with me? Yeah, you said
yes,
exactly.
Absolutely. The government does not have a right. This is unconstitutional. I hope that our president, our wonderful President Trump, who I've worked with and I have met, who thanked us for all the work we did in California without ever being asked. In the very beginning, I've been with him since the beginning. I pray that our wonderful president sends in the National Guard and lets us go to church, to guide us to church in the states that have refused to let people go to church. I hope he does. They say, oh, he doesn't have the right. Yes, he does. Federal trumps state, and especially local. So, yes, the president can say you do not unconstitutionally have the right to not allow people the right of assembly, the freedom of speech, and their constitutional rights to be free and have liberty and everything like that, and their right to practice their own religion. And they are preventing people from practicing their own religions by not allowing them to gather with their pastor and pray together and do all the things that they do in their churches. And it's just not right in synagogues. And, everything. So it is not right that they are preventing people from doing this.
Okay, I couldn't agree with you more. How could I thank you for calling 479-1080, Angel?
Any way you like, Michael.
Okay, I appreciate it. Oh, my God. It's my buddy George Norrie, the George Norrie. Hi, George.
Hello, MZ. Happy Saturday to you.
To you, too. Oh, my God. The host of Coast to Coast AM on this station and 600 or 700 other radio stations. Have you you must have had conversations like this on Coast to Coast, right, lately?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Many of them. Even strangers.
How do you feel about this? Not to put you on the spot, but...
well... Be a little more specific for me.
Well, do you think the government should have the right to order businesses that want to operate to require that people who come into their business, who are customers to the business, be required to wear masks or they may not be served?
No, I don't think masks work, as a matter of fact. I think it contains the pathogens or whatever else is out there. I also don't think government should lock us down in our houses and apartments. The whole situation has just gotten totally out of hand. It really has.
Yeah, and if the businesses themselves choose to operate, that's fine. You can choose to go to the business or not.
Exactly. It's up to you to decide if you want to frequent that place or frequent that restaurant. This has done irreparable harm. I'm in St. Louis right now, MZ, for a couple months.
Yeah.
And restaurants that have closed are not going to reopen in many cases. I mean, they're out of business.
It's awful.
Yep. We've just got to get them there. And you need to build up your immune system. As Doc Wallach would say, you got to be in the middle of all this in order to build up an immune system. And you can't do it hunkered down and hiding in a house. Now, that's not to say elderly people and people who have prior conditions shouldn't stay home. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is those people who are healthy, who are supplementing themselves, they should be able to go out into society and function.
And I remember you're the only person when we get into discussion about vaccines who's brought up the following. It's just total logic. And that is, if the people who are upset people who believe in and have vaccines for themselves and for their family and children and so forth get very upset with the people who are concerned and choose not to be forcefully vaccinated, it's sort of like you're the, how do I say this? You're the only one who has elucidated the theory that, hey, if a person who wants a vaccine has the vaccine, they're vaccinated. So why should they be concerned that someone else doesn't want to be vaccinated?
Exactly. They should be in the middle of lepers and be okay.
Right. And you're the only person who's ever said that. And I congratulate you and admire you for that. It's such a logical thing. I've never heard anybody else. Why is that?
They just don't reason. I don't tell people to get vaccines. I don't tell people not to. But my theory, and you're absolutely correct, is if you've been vaccinated, in theory, you should be immune then to any disease that you've been vaccinated for.
Exactly.
Why do you care if somebody hasn't had it or not?
Right. Anyhow, I never thought of that. That's the number one argument in favor of people retaining their freedom, their freedom to not be forcefully vaccinated. I just think that's great. So you're in St. Louis for another couple. Did you say couple months more?
I'm supposed to be back in LA around June 20th for about 3 weeks. A lot of my live events have been canceled during this mess.
Oh yeah. I'll bet you and Tom are working on ways to do some of these events, virtually. Am I right?
No, actually, I don't do virtual. I'd like to be live and in person.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So I'm just going to wait it out until things clean up, and they will eventually, and we'll get back to work again like that. The Coast to Coast show, of course, but has been going on 7 nights a week live, and we'll continue to do that.
Great. Okay, George, thanks for calling in.
All right, MC, have a great show.
You too. Okay, that you always do. Thanks. George Norrie himself. Here's Sean in Live Oak. Virtual signaling masks.
Yes, and this is a big motive for a lot of people that wear masks is they just want to virtue signaling what great people they are. And lots of cases where people are virtue signaling is just they're acting out of pathological altruism. And they're really not doing anything that helps anything. They're just saying what a good person they are. And the other thing that it's not been brought up much is crashing this economy is going to kill people. And we've had, 2 to 4 deaths in Santa Cruz County. How many suicides have happened because of this?
Are they tracking that information or releasing it?
I haven't heard a thing about it. All I'm talking
But I believe that it's happening, and not only in Santa Cruz County, but everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, how can we find that out? Josh Stevens, why don't you do some research for us about the suicides in various counties since COVID-19? Can you do that? Okay, and then we didn't get to ask you the personal question at the beginning of last hour.
Okay.
But we'll get to this beginning of the next hour. Hey, Sean in Live Oak, thank you for calling 479-1080.
Bye.
And we have open lines at that number now. So if you want to call, it's the perfect time to do it. You can also email mz@ksco.com. We're talking about masks. And if you want to change this topic, you can. Somehow I know I didn't hang up on Courtney. I know I didn't hang up on Courtney like I did the first time, but she's not there anymore.
And I locked her too. So.
Right. So did I. Yeah. You locked her, or I did, or whatever. So maybe she didn't want to participate anymore. I don't know.
We scared her off.
Maybe with all our people who were so passionate. Anyhow, here comes Crash in San Jose. Is there a real person named Crash in San Jose?
No, that's just a nickname.
Okay.
Okay, so here I wanted to say this is I like to go for a walk, too, about 3 miles a day, and people don't realize what a great form of exercise that is, because if you have back problems, a chiropractor will tell you the best thing you can do is walk like on a sidewalk, and that helps align your spine. The other thing is that there's a lot of stuff that happens when you're going for a walk. Your autonomic nerves and systems, when you're walking, that's it helps your coordination, circulation, a lot of other things. It's great. And so maybe one good thing that came out of this lockdown COVID thing is that just about the only thing people can do is like go for a walk and go out for exercise. So I think
a lot more people are doing that and enjoying it.
Yeah. And you also collect your thoughts, and if you're out walking around trees and stuff, I mean, all of that stuff just really helps,
Yeah.
I'm glad to see it.
And
okay,
you've been doing it a long time, have you?
For years now, and through Willow Glen and some other places, and then I had people looking at me weird, like, look, this guy's walking through the neighborhood. Yeah, I'm just going for a walk, but now that everyone else is doing it, I don't feel so weird,
Well, weird. You ever watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, Larry David, you're laughing, Josh, so you must have. It's the funniest thing in the world. I mean, there's just nothing funnier. This is the guy who is the co-owner. Larry David is the co-owner of the Seinfeld show. He and Jerry Seinfeld became like half billionaires when the Seinfeld show ended in the 80s or early 90s, whenever it ended and went into syndication. They owned it. And Larry David was just a writer with, great stand-up comic and so forth, but hadn't been on the television, hadn't been a star. He decided he wasn't ready for the rocking chair, and he wanted to do his own series, and he wanted to be able to say bleep. So he went to HBO instead of NBC, CBS, the regular traditional networks where you're not allowed to say bleep. But on HBO, you're allowed to say anything you want. And that's another topic. Maybe we'll get into that topic next hour, because it's always bugged the hell out of me that if you pay for something, like you pay extra for home box office, then it's okay for you to hear the 4-letter words. And if you don't, if you use free over-the-air radio, which hardly anybody listens to over the air anyhow these days, they're all using apps and streaming and so forth, you can't say 4-letter words and talk the way you normally do. Anyhow, interesting topic.
So, wait, can I make a comment about the masks?
Yeah, but we're going to have to hold you over till the beginning, because we're about 10 seconds into the news here. So I will do that. So stay with us.
6. With that, we proceed to hour number 2 of the Saturday special, right here on your favorite radio station, AM 1080, 104.1 FM, and streaming worldwide at KSCO.com.
Thank you, Josh Stevens, for whom I have a personal question. After we hear again from Dave Michaels and his orchestra. Hi, Dave.
Good morning, MZ. I am out in the Dave Cave. Now, this is hour 2, right? I'm out there every Saturday from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. I just got a shipment in of some more Ultimate Daily Classic. Now, for those people who don't know what the Ultimate Daily Classic is, this is what Dr. Wallach recommends for people who are dealing with blood pressure issues. If you are having blood pressure issues, Ultimate Daily Classic is an excellent addition to your supplement program. Ultimate Daily Classic is what doctor recommends for Blood pressure issues, Nightly Essence is what Pharmacist Ben recommends for digestion issues. This is a mega dose of probiotics and enzymes. This is fantastic stuff. Pharmacist Ben always raves about Nightly Essence. And Vision FX is another product that we have. This is for your eye health, of course. Vision FX is one of the many products that we have out in the Dave Cave, MZ, with deals that'll make you squeal. I will be out there until 2 p.m. every Saturday from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m.
All right, the Ultimate Daily Classic.
Right.
Is there Ultimate Daily not Classic?
Yes, there's an Ultimate.
What's the difference?
The difference is that this has an additive that is designed to help dilate blood vessels. It doesn't thin your blood. It dilates blood vessels.
Wait a minute. Is it a Viagra substitute?
You know, Dr. Wallach.
Can it be?
Dr. Wallach adds this as part of the program. If you are dealing with ED problems, this is something that he will add to the program. This, along with extra essential fatty acids, cholesterol. He will tell you cholesterol and get your blood pressure down. And Ultimate Daily Classic. Also, if you're having vision problems,
for any of you people out there within the sound of my voice suffering with ED problems, listen up. Listen up to what Dave from the Dave Cave just said.
Right. The Ultimate Daily Classic is designed to dilate blood vessels to get, blood to the places that you want them. Whether that be your kidneys, your eyes, lower parts of your anatomy. This is what you want, Ultimate Daily Classic. And we've got it out at the Dave Cave. It's $40. That's the regular price. Come on down to the Dave Cave. We have tons of it. It's a fantastic deal. It's probably one of the better bargains that we have out there.
All right. That was great.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Dave.
You got it, MZ.
Now, Josh Stevens.
I'm ready.
May I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Do you know how to properly clean a toilet?
More or less with the magic wand. Yeah.
What you mean magic wand?
You know, the wand. The wand you wave around the bowl to clean it out.
You're just tricking now. You're just being funny, right?
I mean,
I'm being serious when I've asked
Yes,
you.
I do know how to service a toilet.
How service a toilet? No, I'm talking about clean a toilet. That's different from servicing a toilet.
Yeah, that would be actually working with the plumbing.
Correct.
Yeah, cleaning, yes.
How do you clean a toilet, Josh Stevens?
You use a bunch of Lysol wipes, and you also use a bunch of that powder, the Comet, and you just put it around the bowl, and you just scrub it. That's all.
Ding, 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 ding. You win.
What do I win?
Nothing. But you just win. You win the personal question, correct answer.
What does that make me, like you 3 and me 0 or 1?
Listen, I'm ashamed to admit this, but all my life, I thought that when you clean a toilet, you just get a toilet brush and twirl it around in the toilet bowl. And you might, depending upon how long the stuff has been baked in, it might take you a little more, and you might, build some muscle on your bicep or something. But I never thought, and this is just me, and I shouldn't admit this because this is probably stuff, and you're much younger than I am, Josh Stevens, and you knew that you need a lot more than just a brush. I only learned that this morning. See? How did I get to be this old and not know that you need more than just a toilet brush to properly clean a toilet? Do you know? He doesn't know because, he probably didn't hear me.
I did actually, and we should correct the record a little bit here. And if you want to have the ultimate cleaning of the bowl, you ought to soak it overnight with the Clorox or whatever powder cleaning product you'd use, because overnight soaking is the way to go. Just like the dishes that are probably stacked up in your sink right now.
You are a very, very wise person.
I try, MZ.
I am so impressed, Josh Stevens. I mean, that is so cool. Anyhow, before we go back to Crash in San Jose, we have to do the Hour 2 Saturday special jingle.
Jaunty.
No, not jaunty, not yet.
Hello, darling.
All right, come on. You got to start it out right here. Here.
Oh, visit, but you'll have to call back. KSCO has the inside track.
How in the world did we squeeze a whole hour out of people bitching about masks? Somehow we did it. I think we're done with that top. If people want to call, they still can, though, about that.
Sorry, baby, but I really gotta go to KSCO Radio. Bye.
And special thanks to Crash in San Jose for waiting throughout the break. And he's going to continue his diatribe on masks and walks.
Well, okay. I'm going to go in the Safeway right now. I have a mask. I'm going to put it on. Otherwise, I don't wear a mask. And, you've seen people driving with them and riding bikes and stuff. But you know what I think that is? I want to compare it to something else. Have you ever seen people who sit at a traffic light that's flashing red? It's broken, right? And they keep sitting there when they can make a right turn, or after a minute or two they can figure, well, it's broken, I'm just going to go through the light. Why do they do that? Because they're psychologically conditioned to obey, right?
Sounds good. It sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah, so these people who are overly cautious driving in their own car with the mask, or if you go for a walk and you don't have a mask on and they give you a funny look or say, mask, that's them. Okay, and my point about that is that you guys are conservative. I'm not, I'm liberal. But probably on this we could agree that it's not easy to psychologically condition people to that extent. I'll give you another example. I used to work with a guy. He's a nice guy. He's a veteran. And he said that when he watched the baseball game on TV, that he'd stand up and put his hand on his heart and sing the national anthem. I'm not cutting the guy down. I wish I was that patriotic, but I'm not. But the point is, it's not easy to get people into that way of thinking. See my point?
Yeah. You're outside in the wind. Because we're hearing it. But that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's not too bad. Have you? There was a restaurant in Carmel by the sea that has opened, despite the Tuck Box. Yeah, despite the fact that it's not allowed to. I think that guy's my hero. Whoever owns that restaurant. Can you get him on the radio? Get him on the phone. Just look up and just say we want to talk to him. That'd be great. So Crash. Do you share my sentiment about people who have the courage to say no to a restrictive government that they believe does not have the right to be so restrictive?
I'm with you all the way, man. That's why I called this morning and asked if Santa Cruz was open for business, because I'll go there and spend some of my money there because I support you guys 100% on that.
Wow. Thank you so much. I appreciate the call to 479-1080. You're going to take the next caller, and that's none other than Gary in Santa Cruz. Hi, Gary.
Hey, Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hey.
So since this whole thing started, when I initially found out that they were going to shut down.
I don't know what that sound is. Do you, Josh?
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know what that was.
I'm sorry. Is it Gary? Is it on your end?
I was trying to call
Gary.
I
have no sound here that I know of.
Okay, well, go ahead. We'll just forget it. So for now, unless it rears its ugly head again.
I'm inside a car. Since this, when I found out that they were going to shut down businesses, I've probably never been madder in my life when I heard about that, because I was in the business for 43 years. I just turned 69, so I'm one of the people who should be in fear about catching this severe virus. But the fact is that I have only worn a mask when I go to the store where they require it. Other than that, I have never worn one. I've been riding. This morning, I was riding up in Wilder. I ride my mountain bike up there. I'm coming down. The other day, there were 20 bike riders coming up the trail. 18 of them had masks on. there's a 10-mile-an-hour wind. I'm going probably 10 miles an hour at least, and they have their masks on. I don't understand it. I mean, I don't care. They want to wear them, but I just see the mask as another way by requiring it, of making it seem like things are more severe than they are. We've had 2 deaths in 2 months in this county. That's unfortunate. But to shut down all the businesses is absolutely, to me, it makes me angry. And when I see how compliant people are, it just, I just don't get it. They don't think. They aren't thinking. Anyway, you hear me?
I sure do. I turned my mics off. I was listening to everything, but I'm trying to figure out the source of that tone. But anyhow, thank you for calling, Gary. Appreciate it. I couldn't agree with you more.
Well, thanks, Mike. Have a good day.
You too. Take care. Okay, Joe in Santa Cruz. Masks and vaccines.
Yeah, the masks. There was a saying, someone said back in 1918 or 1919 or whatever, during that big Spanish flu, that wearing these masks to stop a virus is like wearing chicken wire to stop dust. And for people who don't know what chicken wire is, all it is metal fencing with holes in the size of your thumb. These masks aren't doing anything. Now, the mask may stop droplets when someone sneezes or coughs, but the problem with that is, along with those droplets comes an invisible mist that comes out of your mouth with the virus in it and goes out anyway. So if people want to go to the extreme to try to stop them from getting the virus, either they stay away from people until an effective vaccine comes out, or they get a military-style protective mask, which civilians call gas masks. And they got to get the right filter, the right biological filter. And these military masks, they cover your eyes because chemicals, biological, will go right through your eyes. So to me, that's the only 2 things to do, and people aren't going to do that. And I understand why. It's just because it's just overblown. And the vaccine, I like Norrie's logic about why do you care if people don't get vaccines if you have the vaccine?
Yeah.
The problem is vaccines usually aren't 100% effective. They help a lot, a heck of a lot, but they're not 100% effective. So you still may get the flu, but it's a lot less. So that's just another thing to think about.
All right, I will. Thank you, Joe in Santa Cruz, for calling 479-1080 in area code 831. All right, Sherry in Santa Cruz is our next caller. Hey, Sherry, welcome to KSCO. You're on the air.
Hi there. I'm just calling about the mask. I was wearing them biking out to Cliffs a couple miles every day for the first week or so, and then I saw the walkers and other bikers weren't, so I said, the heck with this. And then I realized during that time when I was standing and doing exercises out at the Cliffs that people walking by, when you've got sunglasses on and a mask on, you can't see their entire face. They're wearing a hat, which most people do at the Sunny Beach. And I thought, this is really bad. This is like like the Gestapo, like back in East Berlin days. You can't see people's expression. You're smiling at them if you're wearing a mask, but all they can see is your eyes if they don't have on sunglasses, but most people do. And that's dangerous because you can't tell if the person has evil intentions. I mean, people's expression really tells stuff. And so what better way to get people even more frightened if you know. I know friends whose neighbors are tattling on them now already, saying, you had people over at your house, you know, that don't belong there.
Yeah,
they don't know.
People ratting on you. God.
Ratting. Yeah, that's shocking to me. This is America. This is the land of the free, and this is getting way out of hand. And they better open up the churches tomorrow. I mean, Trump ordered it, and I haven't called my church to see what they're doing yet. But But there's nothing wrong with sitting 6 feet apart. If we can be 6 feet apart walking through the stores, and you can't stay 6 feet apart if it's crowded. I mean, the churches you can, but still, there's nothing wrong with opening up the churches. They can have liquor stores open and call them essential. And excuse me, this is freedom of religion. So that's all I wanted to say. Your girl up in Wyoming, I went, wow. It's supposed to be beautiful in the summer, but I don't think I could take the cold winter for 3/4 of the year up there.
Yeah.
But it would be nice. But thank you. Nice show. She had good ideas.
I appreciate your kind words. And you're calling 479-1080 in area 831. I want to thank Marcia for sending me a email, the subject of which says California, and the body of the email says, and gruesome Newsom dictates salons and barbershops face permanent closure despite pleas to governor. Recall Newsom. Now I click on the link that was sent, and it takes me to an article in CaliforniaGlobe.com. Let me read a little bit of it. Salons, barbershops face permanent closures despite pleas to governor. Where the small businesses that they said they cared about, and this is by someone named Evan Simon, May 11, 2020. On Friday, California entered phase 2 of its planned 4-phase reopening. Many non-essential stores were open to curbside purchase pickups, and a limited number of the factories restarted production and storage. The second part of phase 2 is expected to open up even more businesses in the next few weeks, including public safety, capacity, reduced dining restaurants and malls. However, one business sector was seemingly glossed over despite displaying no more risk than restaurants, barbershops, and salons. The delay on reopening barbershops and salons. The omission has confused many salon owners. We're about to go under, and knowing it could be another month has all but killed the business, Patricia Tran, a Los Angeles nail salon owner, told the Globe. My mother first started this business when she escaped the Vietnam War, and it's been our family's livelihood. Even before anything was shut down, we practiced social distancing, and we even had rules in place for wearing masks inside and having everyone use hand sanitizer. But no, we can't have that. We have no idea how much longer we can last. Barbershop workers are also perplexed. Why did they skip us? Anyhow, you get the idea. Not good at all. Not good at all. And people who just say to hell with these rules and they open anyhow and face whatever they face are my heroes. And I just think they're the greatest. Okay, next caller will be Ann in Santa Cruz. Nurses wearing masks. Hey, Ann, thanks for calling KSCO.
Oh, thanks for having me. Before this happened, my son, who's a firefighter in Salinas, and his wife is a emergency nurse in Salinas, and we live in Santa Cruz. They had to move in with us because they're having a remodel job. So right when that happened, everything, they brought home masks and sanitizers and everything. So we've separated ourselves, but now we've loosened up. But she has to wear a mask 12 hours a shift, which she said everyone's getting headaches. They are breaking out in their face. They forget to drink water because they've got the mask on. And it's a nightmare for them to be wearing a mask for 12-hour, 14-hour shifts. So now, yesterday, we took her mother out. She's having chemo, and we went to Blue Ball Park, and we walked with her. So her and I both wore a mask, but the mom didn't. But I felt so stupid walking around with a mask on.
Why is there a pregnant pause?
I don't know. What was that?
Maybe because you finished your thought.
Oh, maybe. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. But yeah, nurses have been complaining that this is really difficult to be wearing those masks 14-hour, 12-hour shift. Not a healthy thing.
Yeah, jeez. I don't know about that. I mean, I know that I can't wear a mask for any time more than a minute or so without feeling bad and feeling worse the longer I wear it. And it was even when I was young, even when I was in my 20s, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So
and the older you get, it's probably even harder.
Yeah, when the government mandates idiotic things, it bothers me. Now, is it idiotic for the government to mandate that a dentist, for example, I don't know if the government does this, but I know that every dentist that I know wears a mask long before this virus was here. I don't know. It's when the government requires you to do something that you don't want to do, and you choose the government telling you how to run your life and your business is where I draw the line. Okay.
Well, I agree. It's like the motorcycle helmets. I've never been a smoker, but it's, once they start something like that, then it's forever. It's never going to go back.
Yeah, I think smokers who subject me to their cancerette smoke indoors are bad, inconsiderate people.
Right.
But when the government says you can't smoke even outdoors,
I think that's pushing it a little far. I mean, even with a motorcycle helmet, when they started that, or
we had a talk host, Richard Quigley, who moved to heaven, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, or maybe more, and that was his big thing. How dare the government tell me I have to wear a motorcycle helmet? But anyhow. Hey, thank you for calling, and do appreciate your contribution to this KSCO Saturday special. Here is none other than Pure Heart in Aptos about the virus and masks.
Hi there, Michael.
Hey.
I just have a few little things. In the San Jose Mercury 2 days ago, I think it was, Section B, there was an article, another Stanford study, showing that the mortality rate of the new virus is essentially the same as the flu. 0.04 to 0.4%, something like that.
I've always believed that.
And I wondered why that didn't make big news, because it's saying, like, sorry, everybody, sorry, mistake, don't worry about it. So, I don't know. Anyway, that was listed there. In today's Mercury, there's a full page out on the back of Section B of someone's taking the Santa Clara County health officer to task. It could be applied word for word to our health officer as well. So, the actual orders they use, and Governor Newsom used to enact his control over us, if you read the actual text of the ordinance he cited, he's got to have a reason to say why the county is not doing a good job. I'm taking over as a state because the county is blowing it, and arguably the county is doing fine. So his initial takeover to begin with, this should not have happened. None of this should have happened. It's just people should go about their lives and do the Swedish model. I think the evidence is clear now. The Swedish model will be fine. You wear a mask if you want to, hide if you want to, otherwise go about your business.
I like that.
So anyway, I don't know what to make of it all. I'm beginning to think that the conspiracy theorists are right. This is just the whole purpose is to destroy the economy, to equalize all the countries in the world, or that Agenda 21 thing or something. Because what else makes any sense here? Anyway.
You got that right.
I don't know what's making any sense. I'm kind of getting more confused as I go along.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Pure Heart. That opens up a line at 479-1080. Here's Don in Salinas. Hey, Don.
Hi. Yeah. I wanted to put out there the agendized incompetents that are running things. They seem to believe that we have a short-term memory on par with theirs. Does anybody remember this? We flattened the curve without the mask. We flattened the curve without the mask. Okay, social distancing, they told us, was because from an uncovered mouth and nose, the virus can fly 6 feet. Well, they came out with the mask. Everybody's mouth is covered. We're still social distancing. And they're not giving us anything to wear that damned mask. I wear a mask because it's going to cost me $1,000 if I don't wear that stupid mask. But nobody's telling me that the stores will open up, the factories will go back to work, the shops can open back up because everybody's wearing a mask. It's all this is a symbol that the invisible monster is still around and trying to scare people. Like the boogeyman is still here. Wear a mask, and everybody sees themselves wearing a mask and thinks, yeah, it's still here. But you know, it really isn't still here. It's not around. You're not catching it. Hardly anybody out there even knows anybody that catches it. And now we see people wearing flip-flops and shorts and tank tops and a mask. It's the most ludicrous sight I've ever seen in my life. I can just imagine if they open up the strip joints, the stripper's going to be swinging on a pole naked as a jaybird except for a mask. And now even to put this mask even more in the forefront, they came out with a story that the virus does not last on surfaces anymore. Now, oh, they were wrong. You don't have to wear gloves. But, boy, you better wear that mask. I mean, why don't they just say they don't know what the hell they're doing and be done with it?
Well, because they don't want to admit that. Would you want to admit that?
I would. You know, if I didn't know what I was doing and I was hurting people and realized it, my conscience would say, go tell them, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Find out for yourself. I would do that. But these people won't. These people will not do it. In fact, they get worse and worse and worse. We can't, you know, can you imagine? It's no more dangerous to shop at Macy's than it is to shop at Safeway. In fact, it's probably better because there's not all of the hard surfaces that the virus could lay on. Except now, the virus doesn't lay on hard surfaces anymore. No, it jumps at your mouth. You're going to have to cover that mouth. I mean, I'm climbing the walls.
Well, I hope you enjoy yourself on the walls.
No, I wish I did. But I don't. I'm so angry. I feel so sorry for the people who are going broke. I feel so sorry for the people who can't pay their rent, and it's piling up to when the government releases its protection, they are thrown into the street. I am so angry.
The government has said that people don't have to pay their rent. And they're talking about not having to pay their rent for 10 years or allowing 10 years for them to catch up or something. Yeah, I've heard that. And that's not an alarmist thing. I mean, I've actually heard that, and I believe the source. They're talking about that in California, I think. I haven't heard anybody talk about a moratorium on paying your mortgage, though, without being foreclosed on. Why is that?
But yeah, why is that? There's no moratorium on your mortgage. But also think of this. How many landlords are going to be living by the freeway in a tent? You know, while their people are sitting in apartments and houses and not paying their rent, but the landlord's going to be out begging on the street. I don't know. It's insane. It's bizarro world here.
Yes. So thank you for agreeing that it's insane and bizarre, our world.
Okay. Bye.
Because it is. Okay. Josh Stevens, I know you're screening a call, but there's a note here on the computers, probably from yesterday. I don't know, but it says mention to advertiser to mosquito. The buzzing is annoying, and I turn off the radio. Angel from Salinas. Do you know what commercial they're talking about?
They're talking about the Monterey mosquito abatement one.
Would you play it? Can you find it? Because I haven't even heard it.
Yeah,
and I've been getting complaints in my emails about it.
I'll find it.
And I like to listen to things that irritate people and see if they irritate me too. You know, of course, we're not going to tell them to, you know, that we're not going to run their ad because it irritates our listeners. But I do want to hear it. So he's screening another phone call. So I guess Charlie and Selena, we can take that mask. And, yeah, please find that and play it for us, Josh Stevens. Charlie and Salinas, you're on.
You know, your voice is so familiar. I'm just trying to place you. I don't think we've
I've been
ever
on the
met.
air for 30 years on KSCO. And when I was a high school student, My voice had just dropped when I became, so yeah. And when I was like 13 or something, and I was on this station doing the high school radio show.
I'm just trying to place your voice with someone I know just the same way. Anyway, on the mask, I keep telling people, remember who not to vote for, because they screwed this up so bad. And
yeah.
The Monterey County supervisors, they put the doctor out there as the sacrificial lamb, so they can blame the doctor and not themselves.
Uh-huh.
That was a political move, straight up.
Whatever, it's wrong, I think.
Yeah, the doctor is appointed. He's not elected. You can't recall the doctor, but you can recall or not reelect the supervisors.
Yeah.
That's just plain.
All right.
We got to figure out who to vote for.
Charlie, when you figure out who my vocal double is, let me know. Okay, I'd like to meet the person.
I will tell you. It's just killing me to figure that out.
Okay. Thank you much. Josh Stevens. Did you find the offensive commercial? Would you play it, please?
Hi, Ken Clemmy here from the Monterey County Mosquito District. Late season rains have resulted in a dramatic increase in mosquito populations. Here's how you can protect yourself and your neighbors. First, check your property for containers that hold water. Anything that holds water can breed mosquitoes. Second, report any standing water you can't drain yourself. We will take care of it at no charge to you. We are MontereyCountyMosquito.com, and we are at war with your mosquitoes.
I love that ad. It's a wonderful ad. To all these soreheads who send me emails saying that ad irritates somebody, they turn off the radio. I'm sorry. You know, I don't think you're going to find any more entertaining radio station within reception, within range around here. I know that's an arrogant sounding comment, but I believe it. So if you have to turn off the radio when you hear it, it irritates me too, but it does not irritate me to the extent that I'll turn off the radio. Because think of what I might miss. Think of all the great stuff I might miss from KSCO. That's called cutting one's nose to spite their face. It really is. Oh my God, there's nothing I hate more than a mosquito buzzing in my ear, and it's very, very irritating. But with this commercial, it's like a 30-second commercial. It's not going to... Get over it. Jeez. All right, Stephen Ben Lomond has something about mortgage.
Hey, I just wanted to let you know that all the banks are offering people with mortgages 3 free months. Not free, but they put the 3 months on the back end of the loan. So we don't have to pay our mortgage for 3 months. And then if I had a rental, I could pass it on to the renter.
Oh.
I mean, we just got it. We're not paying our mortgage right now for 3 months.
And are you convinced that there won't be a mistake and your credit will be negatively impacted?
They said no, that's not that wouldn't negatively because
do you have it in writing that they said no?
Yes, we do.
Okay, good.
We do. And it was pretty simple, and and just
I don't believe that I've heard that any government agency say that rents are erased, but they have said that there shall be no evictions for a certain period of time for not paying. That doesn't mean the rent isn't still owed, right?
No, yes, it's still our mortgage is going to go in the back end of our loan.
Okay.
But we're still paying the escrow. We're still paying the taxes to the city, but we're just not paying our balance.
And I never got a straight answer about that, but I was told in sort of a wishy-washy way, I heard somewhere that if you were late on your April 10th, second installment, and you plead that the virus is what made you late, they might take pity on you and waive the penalty.
Yeah, that's probably.
Yeah. So I don't know. I got to check more into that.
But people with mortgages could pass that on to their renters.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. All righty. So let's
But
see.
that's not through the government. That's through the bank itself.
Right.
Yeah.
So the government didn't mandate that. The banks, the better, more understanding banks have come up with that themselves. You think, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you still owe that money. It still
Right.
goes to the bank later.
Got it. Hey, thank you for calling in, Steve, with that information. Appreciate it very much. Here's Doug in Phoenix about the churches. What are you doing in Phoenix? Are you traveling, or are you a fan of ours in Phoenix?
I'm a fan of yours, especially Rosie, and I've lived here since 1972.
Well, that's longer than I've had the station, because that was 1991. Wow.
You know, I've been listening the last few years. American in the Morning is what brought me to your station.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, we still have that.
And there's no station in Phoenix that could compare with yours.
Well, there's there is 1100, I think. What's it called? There's a 50,000.
Oh, KFNX, yeah.
Yeah, there's 50,000 watt station that they're always chasing after me and other syndicators of other programs wanting me to pay them to play. And I said, no, we're not. Are you a pay toilet station? If you are, you shouldn't be, because you don't have to be. You got 50,000 watts.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty cool. But, they still come after me and want me to pay to run Dead Doctors. It ain't going to happen. So, okay. So, well, thank you. What you wanted to talk about the churches.
Well, my mother and my brother and my aunt and a lot of people in my family were Christian Scientists. And, of course, they only believe in prayer. And Paul Harvey used to talk about the power of prayer. So if these people want to go to church, let them go, and they can pray the virus away.
Well,
so maybe they're maybe if they want to go to church, I'm a Trump supporter, so if they want to go to church, let them go to church, and the power of prayer will protect them.
Wow.
That's what
Well, yeah. You make a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's what I just thought of the last couple of days. And I'm not a church person, and I don't pray a lot. So, but if that's what they want to do, and I think that churches should be open before bars and liquor stores.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because
bars and liquor stores are not essential. So.
Well, I want to know who determined that they were.
Or
yeah,
the
I don't know.
shops.
Yeah, or the pot shops. Okay, well, hey, thank you, Doug in Phoenix, and keep listening and tell everybody you know that we're a much better radio station for them to listen to, even if they're in Phoenix.
Even here, yeah. Yes.
Okay? Appreciate it. Thank you. Here's Colonel Terry with the big picture. Hi, Colonel Terry.
Good morning, MZ. Look, the big picture is this disease is ravaging and killing people.
That's exactly right.
That is a fact of reality. And,
Yes.
I preach that we should respect the facts and reality by the rules of evidence and the scientific method.
Including the flu every year.
That's also true. It happens, and but this thing spreads. You look at it in the microscope, it is different. It has a capacity to latch on to the tissues in your lungs so that it disrupts absorbing oxygen and functioning, worse than a pneumonia for those that get it and are susceptible to it. We cannot ignore that it's shut down much of New York City, or a good portion of it, by overflowing the hospitals and people's homes with sick people with the COVID-19 virus and its symptoms. Interestingly enough, the facts and evidence include those places around the world that restricted coming and going, that did the in-place home, that started to wear masks and had social distancing restrictions, reduced the rate at which more people became infected with this. Fact and reality. So we should engage in that. We also must respect the fact and reality that our civilization and economic system is so dependent on consumer engagement and consumer participation. And we can't continue that until we get the virus corrected. That's spreading it. And maybe we have to recognize our civilization for some time will have to make this adjustment. That seems to be the reality. And we may well wish in the future that we had done the better restrictions and had the national and the personal and household self-discipline to simply address this with all the discipline and all the adjustments we have to, and participate and do it as a national society. Do it as a national community of smart people.
Well, now who could argue with that?
Correct. That's why I call in. People can't argue with me factually. You know, there's a $10,000 prize for anybody that can prove anything Colonel Terry says is not supported by fact and evidence.
Where will the $10,000 prize come from?
Well, I'll pay it if anybody can prove what I say on the air.
You're a very, very wealthy man.
Fact and evidence. Well, becoming more so. So, MZ, anyway, there's my challenge. And on the mask wearing, obviously it helps. This stuff spreads from your lungs and into your lungs when you breathe. Capacity, and those places that have engaged in the mask wearing and the social distancing have fewer rate of increase in their populations. Trump is so wrong by his bad example. And his supporters, again, they're people who want, liberals make the same mistake, ultra-liberals. They want simple solutions to highly complex problems. Highly complex problems, and so does the rabid right wing, highly complex problems do not have simple solutions. It's like complex mathematical formulas. They have complex solutions.
That's exactly right. Even I know that.
But we have to decide this is a complexity. And the social contract concept.
Right.
All respect and engage in the social contract.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for calling. Here's Dina in Seabright. The big propaganda picture.
Hi there, MZ. Thank you very much for taking my call off the back of Colonel Terry, because I would like to say shame on him for perpetuating this propaganda by saying what he just said. Colonel Terry should have a little bit more respect for the facts if he's willing to put his money on the line as well. I have to assume this is a joke, and I'm sorry for him that he has exposed himself to be so flimsy in terms of the idea of facts. By the way, something I had on my mind was not only about Colonel Terry. I wanted to phone in earlier.
Okay.
And before doing that, I wanted to hear the rest of the callers, because there have been such intelligent statements and people with things to share that are coming from their hearts. Yeah. And then you hear this Colonel Terry show up with really evidence of having been very badly brainwashed by the mainstream propaganda, which is pervasive, and also, by his own ideas that come from within, where he lives in his mind. By the way, we all have that. We all have our own ideas where we live it within our minds. And if we were to take a minute and unify a vision which involves health and invoke more of a focus around what we want to see rather than put our attention on what we don't want, even when it's not visible, we just keep putting attention on something. Wherever you put your attention is what you'll see more of. And I wonder, wouldn't it be better if we put our attention on the positive things where there's evidence to be easily observed and experienced as something that is real? Because otherwise we will just be going in a downward spiral focused on the navel in some way, which is unproductive if we're going to emerge and be expansive as a community. Also, the thing I wanted to call about, MZ, if I may say, is a report from the front lines. I've had in my lifetime only 2 days ever of standing for my rights as somebody who would go and take it to the streets, and that was yesterday and the day before.
The
and
beach thing you're talking about?
There was the beach thing yesterday, and the day before that on Soquel Avenue in front of Whole Foods on the sidewalk, part of Soquel Avenue. And it started out with three women, one gal and her two neighbors. One woman was there as an attorney from Ernst & Young, one of the neighbor gals. And, then these three gals were there just by themselves with their three signs. And my husband and I pulled over, and we didn't have any signs. We just, we recognized one of the women. And so we pulled over and we went to join them. And then suddenly a group of Latino barbers showed up with suddenly freshly made signs that said, please reopen the barber shops. And they were all well coiffed and well presented, and they were actually timid. They looked something like, should we even dare show our opinion? And yet they did, because the three women who showed up with their handmade signs were enough to give them courage. And at a point, after about 30 minutes, it became a crowd of 25 people who were there, enough to attract a surreptitious photographer who had covered himself in garb so that he could be completely unrecognized. I mean, it was 80 degrees out, and he must have been sweltering underneath every bit of plastic that he had on. And he had a video camera that he was using to try to take a perspective on the situation, which is potentially something that may be seen. That would be interesting to see how he edited it up. But I say surreptitious because he would never engage anyone with his identity, that although he was capturing everyone else's freely. And what I learned is that the people driving by honked, every one of them honking, because the open Santa Cruz signs ignited them with hope. And then that was something I never did it in my life, MZ, to go stand at the sidewalk. I didn't have a sign, but I was there waving and part of it. And it was in some way exhilarating. It was very exhausting after even a few minutes. But I realized that when the people drove by and they honked, it gave everybody else the signal that people approve of this idea. People care. And that sound, let freedom ring, became the mantra, like honk for freedom, let freedom ring. And it was really something that I felt became positive, and it gathered momentum. And then we said, okay, now we did our part for our time, and we left when we needed to after about 45 minutes. It didn't take a long time, but I saw that in that amount of time, people responded. And if more people started to perhaps consider being expressive in gentle ways that don't involve rude debate and forcing one's opinion down on the other, fiction as if they're facts, but really being able to show up. Just show up.
Amen. Amen, Dina. Hey, I'm assuming you're the Dina that I met recently?
Yes, you are. My grandfather is the former Superior Court Judge of Santa Cruz for decades.
Yeah.
Until
your dad is Jim Scapatoni, and so...
yes, he is, and allow me to assure you, he was there standing proudly yesterday at the beach in front of the sign that says, Open Santa Cruz to Save Lives.
That's great.
There is the committee to reopen Santa Cruz to save lives.
But it's very sad and very upsetting that was necessary.
Well, of course it is, MZ, because we don't have to we're all involved in important things of our lives normally, and this is a huge distraction to take us away from the momentum of all the things we normally do in our lives. My father would normally be very committed on a path on a day-to-day basis of what he does with his time. He's 83 years old. He's in his 84th year. And he's vigorous and vibrant in his life. And yesterday he showed up there because he wanted to observe. He wanted to see for himself. He wanted to show up and be present for that, to say that, yes, this needs to be addressed, and it's important for the long term. Where is this train going? Right. Because I think Colonel Terry, by the way, should give some deep reflection to having a bit more of perspective. This is not just off the end of the nose. Let's have a little more perspective down the line here, folks. And in fact, if you do want to stand up for your right not to wear a mask, you can. What's wrong with you people actually showing up as if? And you really need to be clear on the language of the law. See, this is the problem. They try to hide from us the fact that there is actually the law. It's called the United States Code, the USC U.S.C. It is something you can look up on FBI.gov.
Wow.
Use your intelligent your appetite and your intelligence to just become familiar with your rights as they exist, rather than if you don't say that you really want those rights, then nobody is going to just willy-nilly let you have them now. This is something you have to actually show up and demand.
Dina,
it doesn't mean
I'm going to
yes?
give you an award.
Oh, thank you. What is it?
The most articulate caller of the day, of the program.
That is high praise. Oh, my goodness. Well,
it is. You certainly are. I didn't hear one in that entire diatribe. I really didn't. Whew. Articulation personified. That's what you are. Who you are, what you are. Okay, thank you very much for calling and adding to the Saturday special. There goes Dina. And see, right here's Tony in Live Oak. Tony, you're on.
Hi, MZ.
Hey, Tony.
I called the first minute after I heard your wonderful editorial speaking truth to power and asking the local people and everywhere to open up and, stop doing everything they do. And why aren't you playing it anymore? I think you should play it every 10 minutes.
You know what? Yeah, you said that to me, or was that you who said that to me before in person?
Yeah,
okay.
The minute I heard it a few days ago, but you're not playing it anymore, and I wanted to go pay a bunch of money to have you play it for a solid hour.
Well, we'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Okay.
We'll take it.
Okay, well, I'll talk to you about that.
Okay, good.
Like years ago, I said, MZ writes like water flows. I want to amend that to say pure water, not polluted water.
Right.
You are one of the best writers of it. Anyway, I can't say enough about it. It's one of the. It should be historical. You should pay a few bucks to some people who want to make it go viral, because this could not only go viral over, the United States. It could go viral over the world because it's so perfectly executed.
Oh, wow. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, maybe we should have played that more. Well, Tony, you and I will talk because we desperately need money.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
So we'll talk. Josh Stevens.
Are you in town now?
I am in town. Yes.
Okay. Well, I could see you in a few minutes if you wanted to.
Oh wow! Holy Christmas! This is very, very intriguing here. So we'll probably, but I do have to leave real quick. But we could do it real quick if you're that quick. Okay. Thank you, Bill in Boulder Creek.
Yeah. Hi.
I'm sorry, you only have 10 seconds.
Okay, I'm surprised we haven't seen a big increase in liquor store holdups and bank robberies with rubber gloves, social distancing, masks.
Well, don't give them ideas. Don't give them ideas.
Okay, well, I just thought I'd mention it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for mentioning it. Josh Stevens, thank you for doing a wonderful job. Thank you to all the callers and emailers and listeners, and George Norrie for listening and calling the Saturday special. That's it. Till next week, gang. See you whenever.
That's all, folks.
You are listening to KSCO Santa Cruz, Salinas, Monterey, San Jose. The Tom Quinn Show is up next.